अरे हाय, आप लोग आ चुके हैं। क्या आज मेरे से प्रश्न पूछे जाएं? क्या मैं आज उनका जवाब दूंगा? क्या सच्चाई होगी, क्या झूठ होगा, क्या सच होगा? आज खुलासा होगा।
Yellow light, so baby close your eyes. The way you're looking at me.
हाय गाइस, वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में आपका दोबारा स्वागत है। देखो, मैं अपने बेड पे बैठा हूँ आज एंड आई थिंक दिस इज द राइट वे फॉर मी टू डू दिस वीडियो बिकॉज मैं यहाँ पे बहुत कंफर्टेबल फील कर रहा हूँ एंड आई जस्ट फील लाइक स्पीकिंग माय हार्ट आउट। तो मैंने आप लोगों से एक क्वेश्चन स्टिकर डाला था अपने इंस्टाग्राम पे। आई हैव नेवर रियली स्पोकन अबाउट द रियल मी, लाइक स्टफ अबाउट माय लाइफ, मेरी जर्नी क्या रही है, माय चाइल्डहुड। देयर सो मेनी स्टोरीज, लाइक फन स्टोरीज, सम गुड, सम बैड मेमोरीज। सो आई थॉट आई कुड टोटली like share about it and I think that'll really help us know each other better and you know we'll just probably have a better connect. So आप लोगों ने काफी क्वेश्चन पूछे हैं, कुछ काफी इंटरेस्टिंग हैं, कुछ तो मेरे को काफी अनकंफर्टेबल कर चुके हैं। some also brought back a lot of memories, I'll be honest। मैंने कुछ चीजों के बारे में कभी सोचा नहीं था बट वो आप लोगों ने याद दिला दी है। मैंने obviously आपके क्वेश्चंस पढ़े हैं। some questions I have broadly classified into a category, some are very specific questions। मैंने सोचा नहीं है, मैंने कहा बस अभी बस वीडियो बनाता हूँ and I'll just run with how I'm feeling and what I feel like saying, so don't mind me missing out on some details। I will of course let you in on as much as I can think of right now। पता है, मैंने इस वीडियो से पहले कोमल called me and I was telling her that you know I'm doing this video right now and I was telling her that I'm feeling so, I'm not feeling very uncomfortable I would say, but I'm feeling a little, थोड़ी अजीब सी feeling आ रही है because there's so much that I got reminded of when I was reading your questions। Also made me a little nostalgic, so thank you to you guys। I'm also able to sort of relive my journey, however it was। I'm just really glad that I've had this journey, so thank you for helping me relive that। Let's get into the questions। One very interesting question that someone asked me is, what was your biggest fear or insecurity as a child while growing up? I think there's literally one thing that I can immediately think of is that while growing up I was constantly made to feel that मैं दूसरों के जैसा क्यों नहीं हूँ। मेरे को इतना अभी तक वो खटकता है in my head। All my life I have fought to be like everyone else। अगर मुझे अब कपड़े पसंद है तो पसंद है और मुझे पहनने थे, like I wanted to wear different kind of clothes। I was different। I was told that that's not the right way to do it, that that's not the correct way to do it। Or why are you different? I mean, if I like fashion, I like fashion. I don't want to fight that. But I was constantly made to feel that that's not what I should be doing. And my parents never encouraged this narrative that you shouldn't be what other people are doing. So I've been really lucky like that. My parents have always supported that I should do something that I want to do, you know, that my heart goes। Of course, they also had their own share of opinions there that you should do this, you should feel a little secure, engineering करके secure हो जाओगे, job ले लोगे। सब लोग सोचते हैं, right? Indian families ऐसी सोचते हैं कि मतलब security रखो अपनी job की। That fight that I've had to be different, to be unique, to just be myself, because that's how I felt। I felt different from people। It was a gradual journey। The moment I realized that yeah, there's nothing wrong in being different। I am the person that I am and I should continue to be the person that I am because I don't need to be like someone else because everyone is unique। I think that really changed my life। So I think my biggest insecurity as a child, to sum it up, was that why am I different? Why am I not like everyone else? Why couldn't I just be like every other person? It was that insecurity that has lived throughout my childhood and teenage years, and I'm so thankful that I have now become so secure about who I am and I'm comfortable with it now। So it's definitely a happy feeling। Another set of questions that I got were about my school, my education, that a lot of you asked me about मैं क्या मैंने पढ़ाई की है, मेरे क्या कोर्स किया है। स्कूलिंग में मैं I was a science student। 8th 9th grade तक तो I was doing okay, but I think after 9th grade 10th grade I started flunking। मैं फेल होता था PCM में through and through। तो आई डोंट नो मेरा एप्टीट्यूड था या नहीं था, बट मैं साइंस करता जा रहा था। आई रिमेंबर 11th ग्रेड में मेरी मम्मी को बुलाया था दैट आई एम ओके फॉर हिम टू चेंज हिज लाइन एंड गो टू कॉमर्स और आर्ट्स, एंड आई सेड नहीं नहीं, आई विल डू इट, मैं कर लूंगा। बट आई वाज स्कोरिंग वेरी बैड। आई रिमेंबर मेरे 8 on 100 को कुछ आए थे मैथ्स में, मतलब मैंने कुछ नहीं किया था, 6 मार्क का भी नहीं किया था। तो मम्मी ने बोला कि बेटे चेंज करना पड़ा। ऑफ कोर्स माय मदर वाज फीलिंग अ लिटिल कि मतलब ये कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, ऑल दैट। आई वाज लाइक नहीं मैं कर लूंगा, एंड देन आई कंटिन्यू टू फ्लंक 12th में भी। इवेंचुअली बोर्ड्स में मेरे 70% आए थे। माई पेरेंट्स वर नेवर हेल बेंट ऑन मी डूइंग अ सर्टन थिंग वंस आई ग्रो अप, बट मेरे लिए एक ही वे था कि मैं इंजीनियरिंग करूंगा बिकॉज मेरे पापा ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री में थे। तो मुझे लगा कि वो मेरे को बता पाएंगे, मुझे गाइड कर पाएंगे कि ये कोर्स कर लो, वो कोर्स कर लो। तो मैंने कहा चलो मैं इंजीनियरिंग करूंगा। तो मैंने इंजीनियरिंग क्लासेस ज्वाइन कर ली। AIEEE IIT मेरे को अपियर करना था और मैं उधर भी आई वॉज फेयरिंग ओके, आई वॉज फेयरिंग बेटर देन माई स्कूल। देन आई थिंक बिफोर आई वॉज गोना अपियर for my IIT and AIEEE, my parents asked me that तुम्हें क्या करना है, लेट्स डू दिस, आर यू श्योर? एंड आई सेड कि मुझे एक्चुअली तो मुझे ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट फैशन में है, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं क्या करूँ। आई सेड मेरे को शायद इंटरेस्ट फैशन में है। तो उन्होंने बोला कि क्या फैशन में इंटरेस्ट है? तो आई यूज्ड टू राइट रैंडमली इन माई डायरी एंड इन माई जर्नल एंड आई यूज्ड टू राइट रैंडम पोम्स, और मैं बहुत रीड करता था एज अ चाइल्ड। सो मैंने कहा कि मैं राइट कर सकता हूँ, व्हाई डोंट आई गेट इनटू फैशन राइटिंग? सो दैट्स व्हेन वी फाउंड आउट अबाउट Symbiosis Institute of Design, and then I obviously checked online, and they said, and then I appeared for a test. They had a few courses, and I selected fashion communication because उधर काफ़ी चीज़ें थी, like there was fashion forecasting, marketing, visual merchandising, there was a lot of fashion writing, कुछ थोड़े modules थे, and I thought मेरे को interesting होगा, so I've done that. And I think my college, taking that college was one of my best decisions, also because I feel like I did whatever I could through college. I made the best use of it. मेरे जितने questions थे मेरे life में about like what I want to do and what I don't want to do for me, so college has been very fulfilling for me. तो मेरा एजुकेशन, वैसे तो मैं साइंस करना चाह रहा था, इवेंचुअली टर्न टू फैशन। तो मैंने उधर फैशन राइटिंग की है, I've done a bit of visual merchandising, ट्रेंड फोरकास्टिंग की है, so I've studied fashion, and I think that really defined and instilled my faith in the fact that मुझे फैशन में कुछ करना है, and I knew it. Change of position guys, because comfort is key. ये सीख मैंने आपको दी है, किसी और को कभी मत क्रेडिट देना इस चीज़ के बारे में. Anyway, number 3 question, you guys asked me about how did I get into content creation, creating videos and stuff, and what has my journey been like. And so once I got done with college, I moved to Bombay, interning at this magazine in Pune as well. उनके लिए थोड़े features वगैरह लिखता था as an intern. And then I moved to Bombay. I started writing for another website called Style Cracker. और उसके बाद I moved to Delhi for Men's XP. So Men's XP में I started writing fashion, trending articles, Bollywood styles. काफ़ी मैंने articles लिखे हैं. If you go on Google and just search my name, Siddharth Batra Men's XP, you'll read all my articles. I've had a blast working at Men's XP. I've made some amazing friends. I've met some amazing people. So I think that was a very very happy period for me. तो मैंने वहाँ पे features लिखता था, और उसके बाद I also started styling a little bit. I think I've had the freedom there to also style. So I started styling editorials. I started styling small branded shoots, and eventually I got into styling celebrities. हमने covers launch किए थे, तो every month हमारे जो cover होता था Men's XP का, जिसपे जितने actors actresses होते थे, I used to style them also. I was also promoted as the style editor for Men's XP. So I actually have worked for about 6 to 7 years. I would say I have 6 to 7 years of work experience. And then while I was working at Men's XP, I realized that I also love making videos. So I just started making videos on my Instagram randomly. मैं जब भी travel करता था या कहीं पे भी, I would just post random videos and photos. और मेरा interest काफ़ी बढ़ गया, and plus I was always really happy about being in front of the camera, but I was not very confident like a lot of people. मेरे को किसी ने push कभी नहीं किया कि जाओ करो, but मेरा हमेशा मैं चाहता था कि मैं कैमरा के सामने कुछ करूँ. So I think this was my first step that I started creating videos, and then I remember my first video work for someone on my Instagram was Gucci. Like it was like a dream come true. Like working with them was like, कैसे कोई मतलब, how can you like work with them? So it was a dream for me. You have no idea. So that was like my first project. They had dressed me for a award show that Men's XP had done. Imagine wearing Gucci, right? Like I'm literally still getting goosebumps. But that was an unreal experience for me. And then I obviously launched more content series. I started my first video series. I posted my first video. It was a makeup video. मैं ऐसी कोमल के साथ बैठा था, मैंने कहा मुझे एक वीडियो करना है, and you know not many people are talking so much about makeup, और मेरे को भी ज़्यादा नहीं पता है, बट मैं थोड़ा कर दूँ क्या मेकअप का सीरीज. So then I started the series called Guy Beauty, and उस टाइम पे मतलब I remember उस hashtag पे मतलब 3 या 4 थे posts, and now I don't know कितने हज़ारों posts हैं. So I mean, clearly, like people resonated with it, and then I just went on. I think my journey started off with Guy Beauty, that video, and then I just went on to creating fashion and beauty videos, and now it is what it is. जो आप लोग मेरे को प्यार देते हो, वो है अब मेरी life. So I'm too grateful for it. You guys have no idea. I'm not kidding. मतलब बहुत लोग बोलते हैं I am living my dream life. It is what it is. The question on favorite memory of when my mom was scolding us. So my brother and me, we used to, I mean, there was of course a lot of love when we were growing up, because he was older than me. There was a lot of love, but we never really got along so much. We used to fight a lot. No, literally जूते फेंकते थे एक दूसरे के ऊपर, which is not cool at all, guys. It's completely wrong. But I think ये हमारे सब घर में siblings के बीच में होता है. जूते फेंकते थे, चप्पल फेंकते थे. मैं तो एक बार लैपटॉप फेंक दिया था. Like I don't know what was up with us. We used to fight, but I remember एक बार हम लड़ रहे थे, मतलब पागलों की तरह लड़ रहे थे. And my mother came in the room. I don't know why I'm laughing, but she started crying. I don't know why I find this funny, but she started crying and she was like, तुम लोग क्यों लड़ते रहते हो, मैं क्या करूँ तुम लोगों का? And she was like, and we are like, yeah, at it. And then we started laughing. Like, bro, she's laughing. Like, I think we should stop now. He only started laughing. So I think this was like, I don't know how old we were, maybe like 12 and 15 or something. I was like, I was a teenager. I found it damn funny. I still remember the room. I remember how I was the edge of the bed and we just started laughing. I think that was, my mother was fed up. She was fed up of our fights to a level. She was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if they'll get along or not in the future. But I mean, of course, now my brother and me, we are super cordial. We don't fight at all. We've actually grown much closer than what we were. I think because once he moved abroad, so he stays abroad in Germany. I think distance grew. My parents also moved abroad. And so I've been living alone in India and they've all been abroad. So I think with the distance really worked for us, that has gotten us a lot closer. I got a bunch of questions on this actually. It was about my childhood, my teenage years, what were my worst and best memories. हम joint family में रहते थे. It was my दादाजी, my दादी, my parents of course. मेरा एक भाई है, बड़ा भाई है, 3 साल बड़ा है. और मेरे चाचा चाची भी हमारे साथ रहते थे. और मेरी 2 cousins like बहनें भी रहती थी. हम गुड़गांव में रहते थे for until 2003. Then I moved to Pune. I think if someone asked me like what is the first thing that strikes you when you talk of your childhood, it's not, I wouldn't say that it was the only memory, but that's the first memory that I get off because my father was in major financial debt. So I think my first few years of my life, like when I was really growing up, I was aware of what was happening around me, but I was also not. My dad had a business and we went bankrupt. एक हमारा पॉपकॉर्न वाला आता था हमारे घर के बाहर और मैं हमेशा पॉपकॉर्न, आई यूज्ड टू लव पॉपकॉर्न, और वो बेर भी देता था. एंड वो 1 रुपए का पॉपकॉर्न होता था, बेर होता था 1.5 रुपए का, और आई थिंक एक पैकेट भी आते थे खुलजा सिम सिम और छप्पड़ फाड़ के. उस टाइम गोविंदा और अमन वर्मा का एक शो आता था. इतना डर लगता था 1 रुपए पूछने के लिए तो मम्मी क्या बोलेंगी. आई एम रियली थैंकफुल फॉर माई मदर बिकॉज शी यूज्ड टू फेंड फॉर द एंटायर हाउस. शी स्टार्टेड टीचिंग इन अ स्कूल एंड आई वाज आल्सो इन द सेम स्कूल. Like my mother used to cook at home and she used to go and like get as much money as she could, you know, from the schools. And I think my mother never wanted us to feel like we don't have enough. So my mother always ensured to, you know, fulfill our wants. And then we obviously moved to Pune because my dad got a job. We started life afresh when we moved to Pune. I remember जब पापा को कॉल आया था जॉब का, I remember मैंने एक गंजी पहनी हुई थी और टैंक टॉप. And I was just so happy because everyone deserved a better life. So I was just really happy. That want for money and I started earning for myself. So I think around 19-20 I stopped taking money from my parents. I'm just grateful for the life that I have right now. The house I'm staying in. Like my parents moved to India after years. They had moved abroad. They could come stay here. This was our home. So I think that feeling is really unparalleled. I just felt really happy that they could come over. They could feel comfortable and they could feel like home. So I think this feeling of being here with them was really nice for sure. I also remember very distinctly that as a child I used to stammer and मुझे इतना याद नहीं है इसके बारे में, but my mom told me this and they eventually got me into singing because someone told them कि अगर मैं singing थोड़ा शुरू करूँगा तो हो सकता है मेरी stammering कम हो जाए. Time to move on to the next question. There's a very nice question about what's that one memory that outshines every other memory in your life. And I think this, I would say, let me think. I think I realized very late in my life, and it's obviously a memory because it's etched in my brain. But I never realized, I always took it for granted. I didn't realize how grateful I should be for it. I think the fact that I've always been made to feel fulfilled by my parents. Like I've been really lucky to have a family, to have people around me that have made me feel good about myself. My parents have always been understanding and they've always gone out of their way to be the best parents they could, the best support system they could offer to us. And I think I have always taken it for granted and I've never felt that, oh wow, I'm so lucky. But I think the more I grew up, the more I heard about people and people around me and families and what people go through, that I feel so lucky and privileged that my parents supported me in every endeavor that I took up, you know, in my life. So I think no matter what I went through in my life, and I know I've been through nothing compared to a lot of people, but I think this one memory that I've had a support system that has stood by me no matter what. Of course, like in their own way, like they also with time, their conditioning also became better. But I'm just really grateful for my family being my biggest support system. And I think that memory can outshine, can overpower, and can be the best thing that ever happened to me. for sure. Next question here, that how did I start losing weight? Wow. I used to eat a lot of junk. I don't know if you've seen it on my Instagram. I have posted an IGTV, so go watch it. I'll probably put a link in the description here. I was 93 kgs until 2011-12. I don't exactly remember the year now. I had properly remembered it was video mein, so go check it. I was just really unhealthy. I used to eat very, very unhealthy food. I was crazy about junk food. I had no control over my diet in any form. And मुझे याद है कि मैं स्कूल से वापस आता था, मुझे सिर्फ कुरकुरे चाहिए थे. मतलब कुरकुरे was my life. It had reached a point, guys, कि मतलब मैंने एक सिंगिंग कॉम्पिटिशन जीता था और मम्मी ने बोला था बेटे तुम्हें क्या दूं, लाइक यू नो आई एम सो हैप्पी यू वन दिस. आई सेड मुझे 35 रुपीज का कुरकुरे पैकेट दे दो. कैन यू इमेजिन, दिस वाज माय अकम्प्लिशमेंट दैट आई ईट अ 35 रुपीज कुरकुरे पैकेट. आई वाज नेवर रियली थैंकफुली वेरी इनसिक्योर ऑफ हाउ आई लुक्ड बिकॉज आई ऑल्सो न्यू दैट आई वाज एट फॉल्ट विद माई फूड एंड माई डाइट, बट इट वाज माई responsibility to fix it, and that's what I did. So in one of my summer holidays in college, I just decided to really cut off from everyone and just get into this fitness goal that I had for my body, and I was really happy and really feeling great about myself even before my weight loss. Let me tell you, I was very happy with myself, but my health was definitely not at its best because of all my food. So that's how I started losing weight. I will definitely do another video of my weight loss journey, so wait for that. I lost about 30 kgs. I went to the gym. I had a very, very strict diet that I was working on. I was doing lots of cardio, lots of yoga. There was a lot that I was doing. काफी मजे किए मैंने fitness के साथ. But yeah, that's how it was and that's how I lost weight. Okay, next question. One advice that has stayed with me. I think personal advice, I have received multiple. Of course, my mother's very wise. I think my mother is one of the best people to take advice from. She is fantastic. क्या relations बना के रखती हैं, just wow, I तो love her यार. My mom is too good. Trust me. I think all mothers are too good. Where do they get this power from? How do they become these really fierce, powerful people? I think being a mother is the toughest job, honestly. I wish I could like award her every day for it in some form or the other. But मैं कई बार खाना order कर देता हूँ. Okay, I think she, of course, she gives a lot of advices, but I remember receiving this business advice. Two advices. Someone told me कि अगर तुम रेस में दौड़े ही नहीं तो don't complain कि वो बंदा first आ गया. A lot of us, we don't even take any efforts and we just expect to like succeed. I think because we're such procrastinators. So a lot of times I also found myself in situations where I just feel like, yeah, I've not even taken effort. So how do I expect to be first? We just constantly find excuses. So I was advised to first be a part of the race wholeheartedly and then complain about not being able to do it. Because then that is known as rectifying your mistakes. That's an actual learning. When you've run a race and you've not come first, that's a learning for you. But when you've not run the goddamn race, तुम first कहाँ से आओगे? That's number one. Number two, I had received an advice on social media saying, know your audience. I think it's such a simple statement, but on social media it works so well. I mean, what's the point of me just doing things that I love? Guys, all of us do things that we love. And I think a lot of us say that, oh, this is my passion, I love doing it. Of course it's my passion. But by the end of it, you want to cater to the people who are watching, right? How will you grow if you don't cater to them? I learned this years ago and it has stuck by me. काफी interesting question here because I think it has taken me a long time to get used to it. How do I cope with people's opinions on my body? I think it's a simple formula that people's problems with you have nothing to do with you, it has to do with them. And I think that that'll be a very beneficial answer for a lot of problems and a lot of opinions that we see on the internet. I think sometimes what people say is also reaction to something else that's happening in their life. So I've just learned to be a lot more empathetic. I've learned to be a lot more understanding of where people come from and where, I mean, their circumstances and their situations. Sorry guys, मेरा कैमरा का बैटरी खत्म हो चुकी है, तो आई थिंक ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन. आई डिडंट वांट टू ब्रेक द फ्लो, सो ये लास्ट क्वेश्चन मैं अपने कैमरा मतलब अपने फोन के कैमरा से रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ. सो समवन आस्क्ड मी दैट व्हाट हैज बीन द डार्केस्ट एंड द लोएस्ट फेज इन योर लाइफ, एंड आई थिंक द ओनली फेज दैट आई कैन रियली थिंक ऑफ इज व्हेन आई हैड मूव्ड फ्रॉम बॉम्बे टू दिल्ली. I just started to feel, I don't know why it was the case, there was nothing, maybe there was a trigger, maybe there wasn't. I still haven't really been able to ascertain that. Maybe it was a change of culture, change of place, I don't really know what it was, but I started to feel, I would use the word anxious. I started to feel really uneasy. I started to feel really weird. I started to have a sort of crisis in my head, like my mental health was completely, it went for a toss. For some weird reason, I couldn't concentrate on anything, and it was becoming really tough for me to wake up every day, go back to sleep, or just run through the day. I don't know what it was, but it was definitely a very low phase for me. That's also exactly the time in my life, I think 20 or 21, when I got to know that there's something known as mental health, that exists and that I need to take care of it. And I think that was like a slightly low phase for me. I think that also made me realize what anxiety really feels like and that you need to actively work on it. So I'm okay, but I think that was around 20 or 21 years of age when I have moved from Bombay to Delhi was definitely the lowest phase. And that's when I started to have a lot of panic attacks and feel really uneasy in life. But of course, it got better as I grabbed, I started to work on my mental health more and started to slow things down and not really take things too seriously myself. And I started to study more about how I felt and how I reacted to things and what really made it worse. And yeah, that's how it was. And that's it for this video, guys. I feel really light for sure. There's a sense of lightness that I have. I hope you guys got to know me better, and I was definitely feeling the heart-to-heart conversation I was having to the camera, to you guys right now. I mean, there's so much that I said that I hadn't imagined I used to feel that way. So I'm thankful that I was really comfortable in my space and I was doing this. And let me know if you want me to do more such things, and if you want me to do more such get to know me kind of videos where you get to know me for real. I would love to do that about different areas in my life. Any questions that you may have, leave them in the comments below. I would love to talk about them. If you are enjoying the content on my channel, please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and lastly, subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my videos. Please go watch as many videos I have done on my channel. I hope you guys enjoy them. Until I see you guys again, just remember to be grateful for what you have. I am super grateful for what I have, and I think I need to remind myself every single day of it. So take care, and I'll see you guys soon.